There are two pillars that every healthy, thriving, growing community has to have at its core. One is chesed, kindness, and the other is obviously food.
The Atlanta Kashrus Commission had very humble beginnings. When I first came to Atlanta, which was in 1952, there wasn't a Kashrus Commission in those days, but there was the need for some supervision for kosher food and butchers and so forth.
As the community grew, it was clear to me that we're going to have someone who's really fully responsible for supervising and implementing policies.
The day-to-day managing and running the whole operation is Rabbi Stein, and he's doing an excellent job.
Rabbi Stein, in addition to running everything and being responsible for everything, he's primarily focused on the retail operations, the restaurants, the purveyors, the caterers.
One of the things that I try to do is I try to be in and out of all the establishments throughout the day. They never know exactly when I'm going to come, but I try to come in at different times and just see what's happening. Make sure the mashgichim are there, the supervisors are there, and check the incoming things that have come in over the weekend.
He's interacting with the mashgichim, the kosher supervisors that are on site. He's visiting them on a predetermined schedule and frequency as is required. And then we do what's normally referred to as industrial kosher, and that involves certifying kosher food production in factory settings.
Rabbi Stein is the resident expert in all matters of kashrus. He knows what's going on in the field, he knows what's going on in the industry, he knows what's going on with the manufacturers, he knows what's happening in the factories.
We did get another topping in.
Mm-hmm. Does it have royu on it?
It has to look in the back.
Oh yeah, let's have to look at it. It's a cream cheese icing. Does that have to make the top?
In today's modern factory-produced foods, the consumer can't possibly know that which is in his food, which ingredients are being used or not being used.
Hi, my name is Rabbi Stein, and I'm calling from Atlanta. And I'm trying to find out if a cream cheese icing is kosher certified.
And that's where the Kashrus agency comes in. They serve as the everyday consumer's eyes and ears, ensuring, testifying to the fact that the food that's on our tables is indeed kosher.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your help. Thank you. Well, they said it's kosher. I guess we'll find out if it really is.
So Rabbi Stein himself has always been the very model of integrity. And that's what you need in kashrus.
He's really demonstrated to the community how accessible kashrus is and how kashrus can actually be easier than some people think.
I think anyone who has any Atlanta connection, whenever I go, people always say, you know, you're Rabbi Stein's daughter, and randomly someone will be calling like, I'm in this place and I want to know where I can get my slice of pizza or what I can do, and this situation isn't ideal, but how can I make it that I can get something that I want? And generally he's a very good source of information.
I first started with a shul 8 years ago, about 4 or 5 weeks before Pesach. There is no amount of preparation you can do in yeshiva to prepare you for the actual questions that come in your first Pesach as a rabbi. Rabbi Stein was on my speed dial. I would call him 6, 7, 8 times an hour with questions. And each time I would call him, he would ask me a follow-up question, which I hadn't yet known enough to ask the first time when I spoke with whoever called me. And back and forth and back and forth. And the survival, the secret to the survival of my first Pesach at Beth Jacob is Rabbi Stein.
I am a kosher consumer, and I actually call Rabbi Stein fairly frequently to ask him about a particular product or whether a particular product requires supervision or what the latest information is, because now that he's fully engrossed in kashrus and I don't have to do that on a day-to-day basis, he knows more about it than I do. And it's not unusual for me to call any time of day or night. I have special access.